Part of Oregon's new gun control law remains on pause for at least another 10 days. Today, a Harney County judge extended a temporary restraining order on two parts of voter-approved Measure 114, the permit to purchase program, and a background check requirement. Arguments over the ban on high-capacity magazines are still happening right now. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Deborah Knapp.
And I'm Steve Dunn. Today's hearing has to do with last week's ruling by a state judge that found the law violates Oregon's Constitution.
The Oregon Department of Justice appealed to the state Supreme Court, but the court denied their appeal.
All of this has led us to today, where the state judge extended that pause. Katu is on your side with live team coverage today. Eric Mock is looking into the legal side of things to see what it will take for the law to ever go into effect or continue in the courts.
And Katu's Christina Giardinelli listened to the hearing where a Harney County judge extended that temporary restraining order. So, Christina, what are they trying to figure out right now?
Well, the state is saying their permit to purchase infrastructure is not ready yet. They're saying it likely won't be ready till February. But in the meantime, they want the judge to close the Charleston loophole. Now, if you don't know, that is a loophole that allows you to go ahead and purchase a gun, even if the currently existing infrastructure for background checks, if that hasn't come through within 3 days, you can go ahead and purchase that gun. State wants the judge to close that loophole. Circuit Court Judge Robert Raschio says he's pausing all of the permit to purchase portion of the Measure 114 until the next hearing takes place. He says allowing that to go into effect before infrastructure is ready would violate the Constitution.
Any complete bar on the ability to secure a firearm would be unconstitutional under even a strict scrutiny. And so that's my point, I guess, is that I want to know that you're ready, that you agree that I can keep a temporary restraining order in effect if I choose to do so until you give me notice.
It's a hearing tomorrow that's going to be affecting gun shops like the one you see here behind me in this strip mall. Both sides are scheduled to submit evidence. We already have evidence from the plaintiffs, which are Second Amendment advocates and gun owners. Just waiting in the next few minutes, we should be getting some evidence submitted from the state as well. As far as the plaintiffs go, most of that evidence consists of historical proof that those multiple capacity magazines existed during the time the Constitution was written. Hundreds of firearms with multiple capacity magazines are sold every day in the U.S. If a pause on Measure 114 is lifted, gun stores in Oregon will have to stop selling them, and gun owners will only be able to use them for hunting or in their homes. The measure will also require a permit to purchase a firearm. Gun rights advocates are suing the state to block it from enforcing the voter-approved measure. They say it violates Oregon's Constitution. Sam Paredes is a board member for Gun Owners of America, one of the organizations suing the state.
Gun Owners of America decided to file because Oregon has a Second Amendment provision in their Constitution, and we believe it to be analogous to the federal Second Amendment.
A state judge approved a temporary restraining order and is set to hear arguments for and against extending the pause until the case goes to trial. Michael Crone, an attorney for the state, says it's unusual to see gun laws like this one paused by a state judge.
At least with the magazine restrictions here, that typically the courts have allowed these types of laws to exist in place while the question is being litigated. And that's really what's at stake at this point in the litigation.
You have to fill out this application that OSP published today. This is an application for a permit to purchase, and then this has to be approved by local law enforcement in order to get the permit. But part of that is some pretty comprehensive training you're having to get in firearms. Part of Measure 114 requires anyone who wants to buy a gun to go through firearms training. According to the ballot measure approved by Oregon voters, that training has to review federal and state gun laws, safe practices for use and transportation of guns, review safe storage laws, suicide and homicide prevention, and an in-person demonstration of safely locking, loading, unloading, firing, and storing a gun. At a hearing before the state legislature Wednesday, OSP Superintendent Terry Davey said the Oregon Sheriff's Association was working to put the training curriculum that would satisfy most of Measure 114's requirements online. But as for the in-person demonstration, Davey said they're still working on that portion.
Ready to fire, bang,
Greg Fishbeck is a firearms instructor at Defensive Arts in Southwest Portland. He teaches those in-person demonstrations as part of the training requirements already included in Utah's concealed handgun carry requirements. And he says Oregon could save a lot of time by just adopting what they already use. But Fishbeck says he's willing to do whatever the state needs in order to teach this class.
Whatever it takes. I mean, if they want to hold a class, if they want me to get certified that way, if they want to say, here's your PowerPoint and presentation, you have to teach from this, whatever it takes, right? I mean, we all want the same thing. We want people that own guns to be safe.